Joe Biden at all costs. And that brings me to my next clip. This one's a little bit longer, but this you gotta listen to. Did y'all know today Alyssa Milano went onto a radio show to explain her silence on Joe Biden? Her explanation literally made everything worse. Let me see if I can find I'm gonna see if I can find the ratio before we even show you the clip, because you're gonna really want to watch this clip. The last time I checked that ratio, the video, because it had only been posted a couple hours, the video got like, shit, is that 12,000 views now? That 12,000 views. You want to know what the like to dislike ratio is? The like ratio is 84 likes. The dislike ratio is 1.7K. So you gonna want to hear this shit, because it deserves it. Shit, the 84 likes, it's being too nice, being too generous. It's probably every member of that staff for that radio show. Is it Radio Andy? Probably every member of that staff like that video. Let's check it out.
Alyssa, the other night, I logged on to Twitter, and typically my Twitter experience these days is I go on and I look at what's trending just to see, okay, it's basically a way of telling me what people are talking about. And you were trending.
Right. That's how I do it too.
Yeah. What did you do that you were trending?
So it's actually quite a serious reason,
okay.
I think. So I endorsed Joe Biden.
Okay, good.
And there have been accusations against Joe about a sexual assault.
Right, and people were saying, "How can you do that?" Because you're.
I have not publicly said anything about this. If you remember, it kind of took me a long time to publicly say anything about Harvey as well, because I believe that even though we should believe women, and that is an important thing, and what that statement really means is, like, for so long the go-to has been not to believe them. So really we have to sort of societally change that mindset to believing women, but that does not mean at the expense of not giving men their due process and investigating situations.
I like that.
And giving, it's got to be fair in both directions.
Okay.
So, I've been very vocal about Biden and my support for him. I've known him for a long time, and I did do my due diligence because part of it was that, and the article that sort of stood out to me was that Time's Up decided not to take the case. And so,
that was important to you. That meant, well, maybe there's more to this story here.
Right. I did my work, and I spoke to Time's Up, and I just don't feel comfortable throwing away a decent man that I've known for 15 years.
Yep.
In this time of complete chaos without there being a thorough investigation.
Yep.
I'm sure that mainstream media would be jumping all over this as well if
we weren't in a pandemic. If there was more credible, if there was evidence
if they found more evidence or through their investigate. So I'm just kind of staying quiet about it. And because I'm staying quiet about it,
you were getting dragged on Twitter by Bernie Bros.
Right. They're calling me hypocritical for and saying that I'm a fake feminist and all of this stuff. And I'm still trying desperately to stand back and be sort of objective about this, because I don't want this to, I sent the Me Too tweet over 2 years ago. I never thought that it would be something that was going to destroy innocent men, right? Like, we don't want that to happen either. So we have to find this balance in the Believe Women movement, and also giving men their due process, and realizing that we're destroying lives if we publicly don't go through the right steps in order to find out if an accusation is credible or not.
Wow. Whole lot of lies there. Whole lot of problematic takes. Whole lot of problems. I don't even know. First of all, let's talk about the fact that why the hell she sounds so stupid? Why do you sound like you don't know what the hell you're talking about? You sound like you're guilty of lying, and you know you're lying. You ever like get caught by your parents lying, and you got a lying voice, but you don't really, you got a lying voice, but you in the moment you're like, man, I'm selling the shit out of this lie. My mom believes everything I'm saying, but then you realize after, damn, I did sound a little bit nervous. Like you trying to figure out, like, damn, how did my mom know I was lying? Because you sounded like Alyssa Milano when she was making up excuses for why she's been silent on this Joe Biden. That's why you said that to yourself when you was a kid. Everybody has sounded like Alyssa Milano. The difference is we weren't lying about the nature of an accusation of sexual assault about a presidential candidate. So the gravity of the situation is a little bit different. But let's talk about some of the lies. In that clip, you know what she said? She said, if you remember, I didn't come out initially about Harvey Weinstein either. Okay. And it was for the same reason. Oh, it was about the due process, right? Yeah. See, that's not what you said last time. What you said was, even with these strong feelings, not just about Weinstein, but about workplace sexism in general, this statement is complicated for me for personal reasons. Harvey has a wife who I have had the privilege of working with for the last 5 years on Project Runway All-Stars, wrote Milano. Georgina Chapman is my friend. She is one of the most special humans I have ever met. Harvey and Georgina also have 2 very young children who my children have known their entire lives. It is because of my love for Georgina, India, and Dashiell that I haven't publicly commented on this until now. Please don't confuse my silence with anything other than a respect for my dear friend and her beautiful children. You know what we call that, ladies and gentlemen? A cop-out. And it's a lie. So, I mean, it's not a lie. That part, I believe, is true. But I also believe that because of Weinstein's association with CAA, she knew what time it was. In that Me Too situation, remember, happened almost around the same time, and this was Alyssa Milano trying to revitalize her image as well from being a former Bernie supporter. She said in that radio clip that I just aired for you all that she didn't speak on Harvey Weinstein because she wanted, we want to believe women, quote unquote. She wanted to make sure men had due process, so we don't put innocent men behind bars and in their careers, and that would be a noble argument to have been made. Except for then you fast forward. Alyssa Milano cared so much about the Kavanaugh accusations, which I could only think that she gave more credit to, given that in this situation she pretended basically like she didn't even know that the accusations against Joe Biden existed in this situation with Tara Reid. But with Kavanaugh, she went to the hearing. Nobody had even been found guilty yet. You know what she said? I wasn't there with any political agenda. I was there to support a survivor of sexual assault, Milano tells The Hollywood Reporter on Friday morning. As a survivor, it literally is all of our worst nightmares come true. This is exactly the reason why we don't come forward or we don't report. Because of the scrutiny. Because a man's word will always mean more than our word. And it's disgusting. Does anybody want to point out the irony in that statement? Does anybody want to point out the whole ass irony in that statement. Sweet baby Jesus, Buddha, and Allah. I'm not here for any political agenda, except for you're absolutely there for 100% because of the political agenda. This is what we have to deal with as women. We are not believed. We're hyper scrutinized, and the men's word matters more than ours. Tara Reid, erased by the mainstream media. Because of what? To protect the white man that plays for the same team. All of a sudden, it was, I was there to support a survivor. Like, Alyssa, what the fuck? Bro, your political clout is zero. You have zero influence on the outcome of any of these things. You jump-starting Me Too, like, you are almost least, you like, nobody cared that you were involved. You co-opted somebody else's movement. But like, you're a liar. Oh, I'm here to support survivors. Okay. So why not support Tara Reid? Oh, I just feel like there should be an investigation. I just feel like there should be due process. Oh, now you care about due process. That's so crazy how that works. So when it's a Democrat, you care about who's being accused. You care about due process. But when it's a Republican accused, now it's believe women. Now it's damn the due. Now it's I'm just here to stand with the survivors of a sexual assault. I'm at a damn Supreme Court hearing for the Supreme Court justice because my opinion is so influential. I'm just waiting to be moved by Miss Ford in one way or the other. Now I care about standing with victims and not about hearing the due process. You're a fucking hypocrite. You know what makes it worse? You know what she also said in that interview? Time's Up didn't take the case, and that was important to her. You see how that is sickening. That is sickening. So Me Too was an heir apparent, Time's Up was an heir apparent to Me Too, but they have a legal mechanism that can then pursue these cases. Time's Up did not pursue this case. Time's Up did not pursue this case because their primary financier is a fucking senior advisor for Joe Biden. And she knows this. Alyssa Milano knows this. But she just tried, I gotta stand with survivors. She just tried to delegitimize Tara Reid's claims by saying, well, Time's Up. They didn't cover it. So, that was kind of that was a deciding factor for me. Oh, you mean the organization that is literally financed by one of Biden's chief advisors didn't support any or wouldn't pursue a case against Joe Biden? They wouldn't fuck up their money train? Can you believe that? I, for one, am shocked and appalled. I'm flabbergasted. I'm so befuddled. I don't understand how we could have ever expected that. Like, what? Come on. But you say this on national radio, pretending like that you weren't being obtuse, that you weren't being purposely misleading. You're a fucking liar. That's what you are. Now, Krystal Ball has something to say about this. She felt some type of way, I could tell. And so we're going to bring up that tweet real quick. She says, incredible. Alyssa Milano says she assumes that the mainstream media would cover Tara Reid if her claims were credible, and that we have to find balance in Me Too and believe women. Don't remember those caveats before. 100% correct. And Alyssa Milano's claim, she said, if this was such a, if this was credible, then I thought the mainstream would have investigated more. They always, because the mainstream in 2020 has become known for its stellar investigative journalism exposing the secret corruption of establishment candidates. If they have not been known for anything else, that is definitely what they've come to be known for in 2020. That is totally why their fucking ratings have dropped across the board and people come to independent media like this fucking show to get the truth. Because that's what the mainstream media has been known for, right? Telling the let alone doing some fucking research for once, but then using that research to tell the truth, we know for a fact they've always been known for exposing people like Joe Biden. They have not propped up Joe Biden at all. They've held him to account. And that's why if the mainstream media isn't worrying about it, meh. Really? Come on, bro. Come on. So Alyssa Milano's response was meh as well. As usual, right? She keeps giving a bunch of mad responses. She said Bernie supporter, right? Ladies and gentlemen, does that address what Krystal Ball said about the mainstream media? Which is true? Does that address what she said about Milano when it comes to quote unquote finding balance between Me Too and I Believe Women? And her not having any caveats like, oh, well, we should make sure the man is innocent or guilty, due process. She didn't have any of those caveats before. That's true. I just read you two very clear examples of that. And Melissa Milano, oh, Bernie supporter, right? What the fuck does being a Bernie supporter mean when it comes to you being a complete and total hypocrite and other people calling you out? You know what the only thing I've seen being a Bernie supporter means? It means that you at least, at the bare minimum, have the clarity of thought to see bullshit when it arises, like in this particular situation, when it comes to the establishment lying and protecting and coddling. So maybe in this situation, that's what you mean. Oh, you're a Bernie supporter, right? As in you could see I'm bullshitting. That's the only thing I can think of. But other than that, Alyssa Milano has no reason to bring up being a Bernie supporter. You think that you can discredit anything that's said about you just by calling somebody a Bernie supporter? It doesn't work, bro. You're full of shit. Michael Goddard, thank you very much for the super chat. Gonna have steak and eggs on GE tonight. Watch MSM lose it. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for the super chat. So now Brie Joy Gray jumps into the mix. Y'all know I love Brie. Shout out to Brie. Got a lot of love for her. Everything she's done for Bernie's campaign, and she's been pretty vocal about this. She said, bold of you to admit that you only care about sexual assault allegations about people you disagree with politically. Then she says, this is truly some of the ugliest and most demoralizing, sexist, hypocritical BS I've ever witnessed in my life. As a woman, I'm enraged. As an ethical human being, I'm enraged. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Brie. 100% agree. What's what it ultimately boils down to, and I must say, I know other members of the campaign have been a little bit tepid, to say the least, when it comes to addressing this Joe Biden situation. But what Brie has done here, I do not think should be taken for granted. The campaign is still ongoing. She is still a member of Bernie Sanders' campaign and still the national press secretary. And as a woman, as a person who believes in holding people accountable, addressing survivors and giving them adequate support, et cetera, she could have been silent because Bernie has not talked about this. David Sirota has not talked about this. Ro Khanna has not talked about this. She knows that if Bernie endorses Biden, unfortunately, when Bernie endorses Biden, when Biden campaigns, or Bernie campaigns for Biden, these allegations could hurt Bernie as a brand in the future. And her being connected to Bernie as a brand in the future, it could hurt her. She does not care. That is an activist first. That is an advocate. That is a leftist. That is a progressive. That is a person who stands on her principles before standing with the campaign. When it comes to some issues, you cannot bend. You cannot waver, especially if you're a woman. Because she knows as a black woman, if she, God forbid, Brie ever went through something like that, or any of her friends who may be minorities, You think that Tara Reid is having a lot of trouble getting her story heard. Imagine being a black woman. Imagine being Anita Hill, having the entire U.S. government, led by Joe Biden, trying to crush you to protect the Supreme Court justice. She knows how that game is played, and it doesn't get better if you're a black woman or a minority woman. It gets worse, and that is like a line that she drew, regardless of whose campaign she works for, and that is all the respect in the world for you, Brie, for that. So Krystal has a response to Alyssa Milano's tweet, saying it shouldn't matter what candidate you support. That's literally exactly the problem. Your obvious hypocrisy is destroying the movement you claim to care about. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I appreciate you calling that out, Krystal. I appreciate you calling that out, Brie. And I appreciate Alyssa Milano being so candid in her bullshit, making it so easy to expose you. You tell on yourself. Like, we didn't even have to do work. You just had a whole radio clip. Hey, can I just go ahead and list off the different ways I'm a hypocrite? Is that cool? That's literally what she did. If you like that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockman Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.